And War is one of the ones that people remember because they explored everything. I mean, they tapped into the Chicano culture. They did folk rock. They did blues. They did R&B. They did straight ahead funk. They did jazz. They did a little bit of, gospel in the interim. I mean, War is a band, jazz as well. War is probably the most versatile band that I can think of all time. Everybody, you're right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your host, Chris Stevens. And of course, June is Black Music Month. So this is the BMN 30 series here on the Groove Line. June is Black Music Month. There's 30 days in the month of June. So that means every day this month, there will be an episode about a band, an artist, a songwriter, a producer, a sound, a label, a group, an era, you name it, we got it covered. If it has something to do with Black History Month, Black Music Month, and Black music history, you will hear it and see it here on the Groove Line. So I invite you to subscribe and tap that notification bell so you'll be notified of all the new content that drops on this channel. And don't forget to like and comment on the videos. We have really good conversations in the comments, so feel free. The more likes and comments, the more eyes and ears can be on this channel, and we can keep on riding. So it's day 17. Never thought we'd get this far, even though I've done this before in different podcast forums. It's still a challenge every year to do it. Maybe I'll do an episode about why it's a challenge a little later on. But day number 17 is Tuesday, and I thought about this for a while. I thought about doing one on this band for a minute, but I just wasn't sure how I was going to be able to do it. But I was inspired by them recently getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, everybody's like, oh, you can pay for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I mean, yeah, I get it, but it's still nice to see that this band, which I've called your favorite band's favorite band, is getting their due. I mean, they always gotten their due, but it's good to know that at least one of the surviving members is carrying on and trying to, continue the War legacy. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about War. War, of course, is led by Lonnie Jordan, former members Lee Oscar, and also the late Thomas Papa D. Allen, who is from my hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. I was shocked to find out that a member of War was actually from here in Delaware. Like when I was just, doing all the research and everything, I was like, Papa D. Allen was from here? Holy shit. Unfortunately, he passed away of a heart attack in 1988. So War continues on in Lonnie Jordan's name. He's I guess he's the one who owns the title to the name, I suppose. I mean, there's a lowrider band with other former War members, but War, as we know it, is still torn with that name with Lonnie Jordan at the helm. So once again, it is tough to catch your favorite bands and groups when it's 2 and 3 versions of these bands and groups running around. We need for these folks to come to Jesus and say, hey, man, no more beef. Let's all tour together. Let's make this old school money until we can, until we kick the bucket. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, War starts off as Eric Burdon in War because Eric Burdon was a British soul singer, and him and Jerry Goldstein, who was War's producer, because Jerry didn't know what to do with War at the time, because War was made up of a bunch of racially mixed guys who grew up in different areas of Los Angeles. You had your Chicano influences, your rock, your R&B, your funk, your gospel, and they all put it together. That's why War is just one of the most versatile bands to ever do it, because every time you think you can put a label on their sound, they were kind of like Sly and the Family Stone, Southern California style. They were just missing a female vocalist and a female trumpeter. But yeah, you could probably say that War was like Sly for the SoCal crowd, for the Chicano crowd, for the lowrider crowd, for the what set you claim crowd. But yes, War is a band that you can find any amount of enjoyment in any song that they play. So as usual, when I talk about a band or an artist during this month, I'm going to give you a top 5 or a top 10. War, a top 10 for me was pretty easy to come around to. I mean, these are the songs that I always come back to back. And again, this is just Chris Stevens' War top 10. If you have a different War top 10, or if you feel like one song's too high, one song's too low, feel free to leave me a comment. We can talk about it. So we'll start with number 10. And this is from the 1973 album Deliver the Word. We'll hear more from that later on in the countdown. Me and Baby Brother. Now, this is just another one of those, upbeat songs with a message to it that War was very much known for at the time. And this is when they really started to hit their stride. They hadn't become pop I mean, War never really was a pop band. We'll talk about what got them to the pop level in a minute, actually. But Me and Baby Brother was just one of those songs that you listen to with your friends and you're vibing, and you just listen to the message in it. And number 9 on the countdown is from the War is the Ghetto album from 1972, the Cisco Kid. So the Cisco Kid was a Mexican folk hero that was on TV in the 1950s. And apparently Lonnie Jordan really loved that show. So they went ahead and recorded a dedication, a ode to the Cisco Kid, which is interesting because a great basketball player and a humanitarian in my area just passed away recently, Mr. Kenny Henson. And his nickname when he was scoring 1,000 points in high school and going on to win national championships at the Division II level, his nickname was the Cisco Kid. So I just found that interesting. I mean, I always liked that song, but then when I found out that that was Mr. Henson's nickname, I was like, wow, there's always a tie-in somewhere. But yeah, the Cisco Kid is just another one of those feel-good songs. It's about, a guy who is a hero. He robs from the rich and gives to the poor. He's like the Mexican version of Robin Hood. Number 8, the song and the album that is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, 1975. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? We're still asking this question in 2025. Really, like literally, why can't we be friends? There's so much strife going on, with respect to race, with respect to gender, with respect to, everything. It's just like everybody, I mean, honestly, we all know who's to blame for why we can't be friends. But it's even in 1975, these are like, it's like, yo, let's just all get along, man. Let's make this thing work. And it became one of their biggest hits and one of their biggest albums. But the song that really got War after Eric Burden left, the song that really got them going, 1971's All Day Music. I mean, I don't know what else you need. It's the title track to the second album they released in 1971. They released a self-titled album earlier in the year called War. That really didn't do much, but All Day Music was the one that finally got people to notice War, not just in Southern California, but around the country. And All Day Music, the title track, it's a perfect summer song. Like you can listen to it. I prefer listening to it, at sunset. You listen to All Day Music and you just, let's go on a picnic, go to the park. It's just like, it just gives you a reason to enjoy life. And All Day Music is one of those songs because All Day Music is what we like to play. And that's what War did for a very long time. Number 6, the 1972 title track to another one of their great albums, The World is a Ghetto. This one is self-explanatory. Everything that was going on in the world in 1972 is still going on in 2025. And it really does feel like the world is a ghetto with so much going on with respect to war, not the band, but actual war. If you've been following the news lately, with respect to hatred, bigotry, systemic issues, gas prices and groceries going up and everything, it really feels like the world is a ghetto. So this is a very timely song, even though it's 53 years old. Number 5 on the countdown, Slipping in the Darkness, another one from All Day Music. And this one has hip hop roots because there are a lot of people that have sampled that. Like Poor Righteous Teachers from Camden, New Jersey. Or no, Poor Righteous Teachers is from Trenton or Camden, somewhere in central South Jersey. Rock this funky joint. It sampled Slipping in the Darkness. I remember hearing that song as a kid all over the radio on Power 99 at that point in time. The little bit of time my mom did allow us to listen to hip hop. But yeah, Rock this funky joint sample Slipping in the Darkness. And then when I heard Slipping in the Darkness, it was like, yeah, this is something special. This was my introduction to War. Slipping in the Darkness as a 10, 11, 12-year-old was my introduction to War. And I'm glad I got that introduction. Number 4 on the countdown, on the Groove Line, Chris Stevens countdown of best war songs, it's Low Ride. Now, this could easily be number 1. You could probably argue that Slipping in the Darkness could be number 1. But, this countdown is just me going on how I feel about certain war songs. And I never get tired of hearing Low Rider. The first time I heard Low Rider after hearing Slipping in the Darkness was in a St. Ides commercial. You may remember the St. Ides commercial with the black lowrider, the Impala, bouncing up and down in the commercial. And, hey man, it's a West Coast classic. I mean, it gave that culture of lowriders and cars with hydraulic pumps, making them jump up and down, and being lowered and all of that stuff. It gave that culture a voice. Like, you can't go to a car show out there and not hear lowrider. It's virtually impossible, and that's the way it should be. And of course, the voice of lowrider is saxophonist Charles Miller. Again, he unfortunately was killed in a robbery in 1980, but his legacy lives on, and all my friends know the low rider. Boom, 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 boom. Burr, 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 burr. Burr, 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 burr. Like, if you don't know that lick, if you don't know that horn sound, I'm sorry, man. I can't do nothing for you. Number 3. Now, this was honestly, it was tough. I mean, the top 3 I alternated back and forth on, but this one, this is War's sort of descent into not descent, or what's the word I want to use? Their foray into party music. And I'm not saying War didn't have party jams, but Galaxy was definitely on time for 1977, 1978. The first time I heard this song was, of course, in the infamous Been Around the World video, where the now on trial Sean Combs and J-Lo are tripping to like Fantastic. And they just played the instrumental, but hearing the words to that song, take me to your place of space. I'm sick and tired of the rat race. Don't have to wear no fancy lace. Just funky feeling, a lot of taste. Dun, 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 dun. It's out of sight, out of sight. It's out of sight, it's out of sight. It's gone in the galaxy. Like 8 minutes of absolute shake and move, as Stevie Wonder would say on Don't You Worry About a Thing. So yeah, Galaxy is one of those songs that just puts you in a really good mood. If you need to pick me up, listen to Galaxy by War. I guarantee you it gets you there. Number 2, another one from the world is a ghetto. Where Was You At? Now, this one came a little later in life, because I remember when Bomani Jones used to have his radio show on Sirius, and the score, The Morning Jones. This was one of the songs he would use as the bumper coming back from commercial. Where Was You At? And I just really dug into that song, because this is a song about a person, either it's a friendship or a relationship, that this is like a one-way thing. Like, I've been down on bended knee. Where was you at? I'm looking around for someone to help me. Where was you at? I mean, the harmonica on this is one of my favorite harmonicas. It's not a Stevie harmonica, but it's a harmonica the same. And Where Was You At is it's one of those folksy type of songs, one of those songs that those genre bending songs that War eventually became known for. Number 1. Now, you're probably wondering, if it wasn't Slipping in the Darkness, if it wasn't Galaxy, if it wasn't Lowrider, if it wasn't Why Can't We Be Friends, then what is number 1 on the Groove Line countdown? Said that twice. It's Deliver the Word, the title track from the 1973 album. And this, oh my God, it's 10, 11 minutes long, but it's worth every second, every single second. Like, you just listen to it, you become spellbound by the instrumentation. You listen to the words and you listen to the hook. The urgency. It's an emergency. Like, I'm going to listen to it after I finish recording this song. I mean, after I finish recording this episode, I'm going to record this episode and then listen to Deliver the Word while I make my edits. Because if you guys think that I can get through this 15, 20 minutes straight without, trying to make it clean, you're sadly mistaken. I used to be able to do it, but now that I have the ability to edit stuff and the patience to do it, I try to make this thing as clean as possible. But yes, I'm absolutely going to listen to Deliver the Word while I'm making my edits. And this becomes as clean and as crisp of a podcast as possible. So yes, coming off of a side screen and just talking about War some more, you just get the sense that when these guys got together, they didn't know they were going to reshape popular music. I mean, you can't even say they really received that sort of acclaim, but they absolutely were owed that acclaim, because in the 70s, I mean, I talk about this all the time, you had to be really good to be a band that people knew. I mean, you look at P-Funk, you look at the Isley Brothers, you look at Earth, Wind and Fire, the Commodores, Ohio Players, Confunction later on in the decade, the Bar-Kays, so many others that I'm missing off the top of my head. I mean, it's just like Casey and the Sunshine Band. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, if you were a band, Brick, I've talked about Brick before. I mean, there's just so 70s bands, you had to be good. You had to rock for people to remember you in some form or fashion. And War is one of the ones that people remember because they explored everything. I mean, they tapped into the Chicano culture. They did folk rock. They did blues. They did R&B. They did straight ahead funk. They did jazz. They did a little bit of, gospel in the interim. I mean, War is a band, jazz as well. War is probably the most versatile band that I can think of all time. I'm going to go ahead and say that on the record. The most versatile band that I can think of is War. Just whatever mood you are in, whatever you're in the mood to listen to, whatever sound you think you want to hear, War's got it. War absolutely has it. And I'm glad that they're able to get, the living, surviving members are able to get their flowers and, get their props because they were exceptional. They were an amazing band and they are owed so many props. And we'll go back through this top 10 before we sign off. So let's go back through it. The Chris Stevens on the Groove Line top 10, by the way. Again, if you feel differently about this War top 10, you think a song's too high, you think a song's too low, you think a song is missing, leave us a comment. So number 10 is Me and Baby Brother from the 1973 Deliver the Word album. Number 9 from the 1972 album, The World is a Ghetto, the Cisco Kid. Number 8, Why Can't We Be Friends, the title track from the 1975 album. Number 7, another title track, 1971's All Day Music. Number 6, The World is a Ghetto, another title track. Title tracks going in order here. Number 5, Slipping in the Darkness from All Day Music, once again. Number 4 is Low Rider from the Why Can't We Be Friends album. Number 3 is Galaxy from Galaxy is the self-titled, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Galaxy was a War album they put out in 1977. This is self-titled, but this was the single, as you can see, that went out in late 1977. Number 2, Where Was You At from The World is a Ghetto. And last but not least, another title track, Deliver the Word. So that's the On the Groove Line War top 10. I'm interested to know what War songs you like. Did I miss one? Is one too high? Is one too low? Where do you think the countdown rates on your opinion? We'd love to hear from you. And that's going to do it for day 17 of the BMM 30 series here on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all for taking this ride with me. Contact information will be in the description below. So thank y'all for riding with me. And until the next time we ride, y'all be good or be good at it.